Hi guys, Ray here from City Fan TV. Hope you're all doing very well. I'm here in South Wales. You can just see behind me Caerphilly Castle. I'm on tour at the moment. Just finished a gig tonight, and I thought, gotta talk about Riyad Mahrez. Gotta do a video about Riyad Mahrez. Looks like he's going. He looks like he's off to Saudi Arabia. You know, we heard a few weeks ago that there was apparently some interest. The money's good. The money is very, very good. I can think of 25 million reasons, or might be a bit more, why he wants to go to Saudi Arabia. And that's not I don't think that's the only reason, but it's got to be a big factor. It's got to be a big factor weighing on his mind. Plus the fact he's not first choice. That comes and goes with Pep, you know. I always say it's swings and roundabouts, where, you know, for at times of the season, you got a certain player who's in favour. Earlier this season, Riyad Mahrez was in favour. He was scoring goals, creating goals, you know, getting assists, and he was in favour. And suddenly, out of favour, Bernardo comes in, and Bernardo was your man for the rest of the season. So I think that's just the way it goes, isn't it? But I think overall, Mahrez isn't first choice anymore. He's in his 30s, early 30s, and you know, those are the two reasons. I think that's why he'll move on. I mean, there has been rumours of some discontent in the past, obviously. You might remember the Sam Lee story from a few years ago, where he said he was at KDB. Other players were complaining, had to go at Mahrez for being greedy, not passing the ball. And Mahrez denied the stories, but I don't know. Who do you believe? Riyad or the people peddling these stories? I don't believe Riyad, to be honest. But he's had a good spell at Man City. You know, he came along. I think he's won 5 titles at City, 5 league titles, League Cups. He's won the FA Cup a couple of times, and obviously the Champions League. That's the, you know, cherry on top of the cake for Riyad, I think. And, you know, his time was drawing to a close. I think he had did he have a couple of years left on his contract? And I think City wanted to keep him. City want to keep the players that they might be squad players, but they're players that generally you can depend upon. Players that already know the system, already know Pep, and, you know, feel reasonably comfortable. They know what they have to do. That's why they're still here. That's why they've been successful. That's why Riyad's been successful at Manchester City. He knows, he knows what he needs to do. You get a new player in to cover his position, brand new. If they're brand new to the league, brand new to the country and all that, you know, maybe they don't speak good English. It takes time for nearly all players to settle in and work out how to play in a Pep system. It takes time, and you know, that's, I think, one of the reasons why City wanted to keep Riyad, because they don't need to go through that transition with a new player. You saw with Grealish, it's taken him well over 12 months to get himself into a position where I think he feels comfortable what he's doing, and he feels like he's been successful in what he's doing, and Pep stuck by him. And a new player, you know, on the right would take time to settle in, more than likely. Most players have done that. We've seen Rodri took time. You know, some players walk in and just bang straight, that's it. You know, your Haaland and such. But most players take a little bit of time from when they join. Mahrez himself, you know, it took him to the end of the season before Pep started to, I guess, trust him, I think, towards the end of that first season. So, yeah, look, end of the day, money talks. I've said it before. You know, you're looking at a situation where, let's say Mahrez is on, let's say, 12 million quid a year. Okay, I've done these numbers before for you. Let's say he's on 12 million quid a year. After tax and national insurance, okay, takes it down to 7 million. Now that might, roughly speaking, you might still say it is a lot of money. But when someone comes and offers you, for argument's sake, we've had different numbers. I've had 25 million, I've had 45 million. But when someone comes and offers you 25 £1 million a season, tax free, You got to look at it. I mean, the money, even if you're rich, makes a difference. Mahrez, if he was there for 3 years, would earn in the region of £75 million if he's on 25 million a year. Can you imagine that? It's unimaginable. £75 million. If he stays at City, still good money. He's still on good money. He'll be on something like 21 million over 3 years. It doesn't compare, does it? It really doesn't compare. Take home 2021 against 75. It is a game changer. It really is. It's such a massive amount of money that it's very hard to turn it down. I mean, obviously Messi has turned it down, but you've seen a lot of players are not turning this sort of money down, and they don't have to be towards the end of their careers. A lot of players are going for it, and yeah, it's going to cause a disturbance, let's say, is all this money from Saudi Arabia. It's going to cause a disturbance in football because, you know, players are going. I'm just going to show you, I'm at Carefully Castle, it is closed, but I'll just come and show you a little bit what's going on behind. So I'm just going to walk back the way I came. So I think now the situation is City just want their money. You know, I think if I'm right, Mahrez has got 2 years left in his contract. City want their money. So they want about 30 million quid. Now I read, I can't remember where, probably Manchester Evening News or somewhere, that, you know, I think the initial offer was at 20 million euros. City want their 30 million quid. And I don't understand this, okay? Here's a funny thing. Why are some of the Saudi offers low-ball offers? You know, Mahrez is worth every penny of 30 million quid or more. Why the low ballers and then offer the player 25 million a season? I'm pretty sure if they went into Riyad Mahrez and offered him 20 million a season, that makes no difference to that 25 and 20. I don't think it makes a difference because he'll still look at it as 20 million tax free, which is triple what he's on at the moment. Triple what he's on at the moment in terms of take home. I don't think that extra 5 million quid in his pocket is the deciding factor. I think if they'd gone in with 20 million, it makes no difference, okay? So why couldn't they just gone in with 20 million to Riyadh and they know what City want 30 million, pay that 30 million, get it done, get it moved on, don't drag it out, allow City to, I think the search would have started. They've always got targets in case of all sorts of eventualities, and no doubt they've got people in mind in case Mahrez was moving on. Obviously we've got players coming through like McAtee. We'll see what happens with them. And look, Mahrez wasn't even first choice, so you know it might be that we can buy that time, give McAtee a chance. Let's see what Alvarez does and Foden, and let's see what happens with Bernardo. It's not necessary that we have to go out and buy a new player, buy a new right winger. I think we need some bodies. You know, if you look at, now I will be doing some other videos on some other players, but if we lose 4 or 5, 6 players even, senior players, important players that would grace most first teams in the Premier League, you need players to replace them. You can't just rely on kids coming through. I think that's it's a recipe not for disaster, but it's a recipe for struggling. We've done it before. You know, when we won the title in 2012, we went out and bought some junk players. Nothing against them, but Jack Rodwell, Javi Garcia, Maicon, 3 out of the 6 that we bought some duff players, and none of them, if I remember correctly, did anything. So you've got to, from this position of strength, strengthen. And we're losing players like Riyadh. We've got to go out and replace, replenish and renew ourselves and go again. It's going to be very interesting to see how Pep manages to deal with if several players do leave. But Riyadh, I mean, look, it'd be sad to see Riyadh go. You know, one of the best African players to ever grace the Premier League. And a part of me will be sad to see him go because he's done so well for City. You know, has Mike and Bernat's got the best touch that they've ever seen ever seen for a footballer. Best first touch. As I said, it will be sad to see Riyad go, but I think it feels inevitable. It feels like, you know, the next few days Riyad will be no longer a Manchester City player. He'll be off to Saudi Arabia. And one other thing that I nearly forgot about, he might be French, let's say, but he's an Arab as well, North African, and so there's going to be, I think, a different level of adulation surrounding him. You know, we've seen the Saudis get quite a few Muslim players. You know, they've got, can't think of them all, but off the top of my head, Karim Benzema, N'Golo Kante, trying to think who else. They've got Koulibaly. Is he Muslim as well, I think? So they've got quite a few Muslim players who, some of them I think, obviously like the money, but they like the idea of being able to play in a Muslim country, and you know, that might tickle their fancy. But I think Mahrez will get a different level of adulation. He'll be one of the main men in that league, not just in his team, but he'll be one of the stars of that league, rather than now. He's not even a star at Man City. He's one of our, you know, top players, but he's certainly not a star. He's not got the adoration from the City fans. Obviously from the Algerian fans he's got that, but he's not got it from the City fans in the way he gets it from the Algerian fans. So that's another reason why I can see him moving on. But I think basically there's 25 million reasons why Riyad Mahrez is gonna be off to Saudi Arabia. Guys, if you're new to the channel, it would be fantastic if you could subscribe to the channel. As I've said, over the last few weeks we've done really well. Subscriber base has gone up by 25-30% in the last month alone. Lots of fantastic videos out there. I'm not just saying that. I mean, the comments from viewers have been very, very positive over the last 4 to 5, 6 weeks. So if you can subscribe, it'd be great. And if you can hit that bell icon so you're notified as soon as new videos come out, that'd be top. See you around, Blues.